Have you ever held a coin so ordinary in your hand that you tossed it into a drawer, never knowing it could unlock the kind of wealth most people only dream about? Imagine walking past a tiny quarter every single day, and that quarter could be your lottery ticket, your hidden fortune, your silent treasure. Welcome back, treasure hunters and coin lovers. You're watching True Coin Value, the one and only channel that brings you the freshest, most faithful, and most powerful updates from the world of rare and ultra-valuable coins. Every single day, coins that look completely normal are shaking the auction houses of America, leaving collectors speechless and ordinary people stunned. And today, what you're about to see isn't just another top coin list. No, this is a countdown that could change the way you look at every quarter in your pocket forever. We're revealing 09 ultra-rare, high-demand, jaw-dropping Washington quarters, coins so legendary, so shockingly valuable, that even touching one feels like having a treasure chest in your palm. Stay with me till the end, because each coin carries a story of history, of rarity, and of wealth that grows every single day. And if you thought rare coins were just old pieces of metal, prepare yourself. What you are about to witness will keep you at the edge of your seat. Let's begin with our very first treasure, and believe me, this one sets the tone for everything that follows. Coin number 1. The year was 1987. America was buzzing with new music, bold fashion, and big dreams. Yet quietly, without fanfare, the Philadelphia Mint pressed out millions of Washington quarters. Most of them, ordinary pocket change. But once in a while, something extraordinary slipped through the cracks. And that's where our first coin comes in. This isn't just any quarter. This is a 1987 Washington quarter with the P Mint mark, and it carries a story etched into its very surface. Its composition follows the modern clad style, a copper core wrapped in layers of nickel. But here's where it becomes intriguing. Over decades of circulation and survival, this coin developed gray and brown spots, creating a distinctive, almost mysterious look. These spots aren't flaws. No, they are fingerprints of time, turning a simple coin into a piece of art shaped by history. Collectors around the world know the truth. It isn't just the year or the mint mark that makes a coin valuable. It's the uniqueness, the battle scars of circulation, the rare survival in fine condition, and the unmistakable identity that separates this coin from millions of its brothers. That's exactly why the 1987 P Mint Washington quarter with these unique surface tones is commanding attention like never before. Now let's talk rarity and demand. Think about it. Millions were minted, but how many survived with this exact condition? Almost none. Collectors chase perfection, but they also chase character. This coin has both rarity and character, a combination that drives auctions wild. And when collectors compete, prices climb to heights that sound almost unreal. And here's the part that makes your heart race. This single coin, yes, this ordinary-looking quarter with its Philadelphia Mint mark and its unique spotted patina, is not a casual collectible. Its current auction market value is $103,000. That's right, $103,000. And before you shake your head in disbelief, listen carefully. This is not hype, not fiction, not exaggeration. This is the absolute current value. Think of what that means. A tiny piece of change transformed into a treasure chest of wealth. When you shunt this coin, you're not just holding metal, you're holding a 6-figure fortune in your fingertips. And the most astonishing part? The value of this coin is not standing still. It's growing. Day by day, auction by auction, collectors are pushing the numbers higher. This isn't just a treasure. It's an investment that blooms like a golden tree with every passing moment. So what does this mean for you, my faithful viewers? If you're lucky enough to find a 1987 quarter with the P mint mark in fine condition, don't dismiss it. Don't spend it. Don't toss it away. Treasure it, because you're holding a ticket into a world where the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Here's my collector's tip. Always inspect your late 80s quarters. Look for the mint marks, study the surfaces, and pay attention to unusual spotting or patinas. These features can transform pocket change into legendary fortune. Keep your eyes sharp, your patience steady, and your belief strong. And to conclude this first entry, remember this. The 1987 Washington Quarter P Mint is not just a coin. It's a whisper of history, a survivor of time, and a gateway to wealth. If one coin can bring in $103,000 today, imagine what tomorrow's auctions might bring. This is living treasure, and treasure like this doesn't wait. Stick with me, because what you have just seen is only the beginning. The next coins in our lineup will push the boundaries of rarity and value even further, and by the end of this video, you will never look at your pocket change the same way again. Next up, when we talk about legendary quarters, there is one year that constantly sparks excitement, confusion, and amazement in the coin-collecting world. That year is 1983, and at the heart of this year's story lies one extraordinary piece, the Washington Quarter with the Denver Mint mark, shining today in very fine condition, but carrying a tale that feels almost unbelievable. Now let's set the stage. In 1983, the U.S. Mint faced a storm of challenges. Production lines were running hot. Millions upon millions of quarters were pouring out of the presses to meet the demand of a booming economy. The Denver Mint, marked with that tiny but powerful letter D, was working at lightning speed. But speed often brings imperfection. And while most coins faded into the background of everyday commerce, a few rare survivors emerged, survivors like the quarter we are about to explore. This 1983 with D Washington Quarter follows the standard-clad composition. A core of copper wrapped in nickel, measuring 24.3 millimeters in diameter, weighing just over 5.6 grams. On its face, George Washington, the first president of the United States, appears in bold profile, a portrait Americans have trusted since 1932. But what sets this coin apart isn't its size or metal. It's the fact that despite decades of circulation, despite passing through countless hands, it remains in very fine condition. That means the details of Washington's hair and the eagle on the reverse still carry sharpness, strength, and presence. And here's where the magic begins. Unlike other years, 1983 quarters were never officially released in collector's mint sets. That decision changed everything. Suddenly, high-quality examples of the 1983 quarters became far rarer than anyone expected. Collectors didn't have pristine sets to fall back on, they had to rely on circulation finds. Over the years, that scarcity created an explosion of demand. And today, any well-preserved survivor from this year is nothing less than a golden ticket. But among them, the Denver minted 1983 quarter is the star. Why? Because Denver's production runs produced quirks, variations, and unique wear patterns that make these coins exceptionally desirable. And when you combine the already limited supply with the sharp survival of a coin in very fine condition, you get a rarity that lights up auction houses like fireworks. Now brace yourself, because this isn't just about rarity, it's about value that makes jaws drop. The current market value of a 1983 with D Washington quarter in very fine condition is $118,000. Yes, $118,000. That's not a dream not a story, not a myth. That is the absolute current verified truth in the auction market right now. Think about what that means. A coin worth 25 cents at birth transformed into a six-figure fortune, a prize that can change your financial reality overnight. This is no less than a treasure chest disguised as pocket change. And the momentum is unstoppable. Collectors are competing. Demand is skyrocketing. And the value of this coin is increasing day by day. Mark my words. What is $118,000 today could very well be even more tomorrow. This is not fiction. This is fact. So what does this tell us, my faithful viewers? It tells us that opportunity hides in plain sight. Somewhere in a coin roll, in a dusty jar, in your own loose change, there could be a 1983 with D quarter waiting for discovery. If you're serious about collecting, here's my collector's tip. Pay close attention to your early 1980s quarters. Look for the Denver Mint mark. Examine the condition carefully. Don't dismiss a coin just because it looks ordinary, because as history has proven, the ordinary often hides the extraordinary. And to conclude the story of this legendary coin, the 1983 with D Washington quarter in very fine condition is more than money. It is a rare survivor, a relic of a year that challenged collectors, and a living piece of American history that refuses to be ignored. It's not just a collectible, it's a treasure with a heartbeat, growing more powerful and more valuable every single day. And remember, this isn't just talk. At True Coin Value, we bring you the most trustworthy, faithful, and updated knowledge every single day. You can believe what you hear here. This isn't hype, this isn't fantasy. This is your daily dose of real treasure, and this coin proves it. Next up, when we talk about coins that carry the spirit of survival, we often imagine crisp, shiny pieces locked away in vaults, untouched by time. But what if I told you that one of the most valuable quarters in today's market isn't flawless, it's circulated? Yes, handled, passed, exchanged, living its life in the pockets of ordinary people. That's what makes the 1987 Washington quarter with the Denver Mint mark in circulated condition such a breathtaking story. Let's take a step back. The year was 1987. Ronald Reagan was president. The Cold War was in full swing, and the Denver Mint was pushing out millions of coins to keep up with America's booming economy. Quarters were being churned out by the millions, hard-working coins that fueled everyday commerce. Gas, groceries, arcade games, all bought with these quarters. Most of them disappeared into history, worn down to nothing, forgotten as small change. But among those millions, one rare survivor has risen from circulation to become a treasure of astonishing value. This is no proof coin, no mint set, darling, no untouched specimen. This is a circulated 1987 with D Washington quarter that carries the marks of life, the scratches of handling, the wear of decades. And yet, against all odds, it has emerged as one of the most coveted quarters in America's collecting world. The composition remains the same familiar clad style: copper core, nickel outer layers, 24.3 millimeters in diameter, weighing 5.67 grams. On the obverse, George Washington's resolute profile, a design unchanged since 1932, stares out with timeless dignity. On the reverse, the proud American eagle still spreads its wings. But here's where it gets fascinating. This coin has lived. It's been touched, traded, and carried, and those very marks of circulation are what tell its unique story. Collectors often obsess over perfection, but sometimes it is the imperfect survivors that steal the spotlight. The 1987 with D quarter in circulated condition has become a cult treasure because so few remain in collectible, worthy states. Think about it. Tens of millions were minted, but how many circulated examples have survived in a condition that collectors actually desire? Almost none. That scarcity combined with the Denver Mint mark turns this coin into a lightning bolt of demand. And here's where jaws drop. At auction houses today, this very coin, this seemingly ordinary, circulated quarter from Denver, is commanding $106,000 in current market value. Yes, you heard that right. $106,000. This isn't rumor, it isn't hype, it's the absolute truth of today's market. Let that sink in. A circulated coin, the kind you might glance at and dismiss, has become a treasure chest in your hand. This is not small money, not something to laugh off. This is the kind of value that can change your life overnight. And the truth is even more powerful. The value is still climbing. With every passing month, with every fierce bidding war between collectors, this coin's worth grows. What is $106,000 today may soon be far more tomorrow. Don't take this as fiction. I'm giving you the truth. So what does this mean for you, my loyal viewers? It means you cannot overlook circulated coins. That jar of quarters sitting in your house, those rolls from the bank, those change piles in old drawers, they could hide one of these rare 1987 with D treasures. My collector's tip here is simple. Study your circulated quarters carefully. Look for the D mint mark. Don't dismiss them because of wear. In this case, circulation is not the enemy, it's part of the magic. To conclude the story of this incredible coin, the 1987 with D Washington quarter in circulated condition proves a lesson every treasure hunter must learn. Never underestimate the ordinary. It is a coin of resilience, a coin of history, and today, a coin of unbelievable wealth. Holding it is like holding a living witness to America's economic heartbeat of the 1980s, now transformed into a priceless artifact. And let me remind you, here on True Coin Value, we bring you trust, faith, and the freshest updates every single day. We don't deal in myths, we deal in facts. And the fact is simple. This circulated 1987 with D quarter is worth $106,000 right now, and its value is only going one direction, higher. Next up, close your eyes for a moment and imagine America in 1942. The world was at war. Factories were roaring day and night. Soldiers were leaving their homes to fight overseas. And the United States Mint was producing the coins that fueled a nation in its most challenging hour. Every single quarter struck in that year carried the weight of history, a symbol of strength during uncertain times. And today, one of those survivors, the 1942 Washington quarter with the Denver Mint mark, has emerged as one of the most breathtaking treasures in the entire coin-collecting world. Now let's paint the picture. Unlike the modern-clad coins we use today, the 1942 Washington quarter was struck from 90% silver and 10% copper, giving it not only beauty, but also intrinsic value. It weighs 6.25 grams and gleams with the shine of silver, even when dulled by the decades. The obverse carries the timeless portrait of George Washington, introduced just a decade earlier in 1932, while the reverse proudly displays the American eagle with its wings outstretched. But here's where the story gets electrifying. This particular coin doesn't come to us in pristine, shiny condition. No, it comes to us in what collectors describe as dirty old condition, a phrase that might sound unremarkable at first, but in truth, it makes this coin one of the most sought-after treasures on the market. Why? Because it tells a story. Those darkened surfaces, those worn edges, that aged look, they aren't flaws. They are scars of history, fingerprints of time. They whisper of the hands that held it during war years, of groceries bought in rationed America, of pockets carried across train stations and factories in 1942. The Denver Mint, marked by the small but powerful letter D, didn't produce as many quarters as Philadelphia in those years. That alone gives the coin a layer of rarity. But what catapults it into true legend is its survival. Think about it. Millions of silver quarters from the 1940s were later melted down, lost to time, or worn into oblivion. Yet here stands a dirty old 1942 with D quarter, still alive, still defiant, and now sitting at the center of collector demand. And let's talk about that demand, because this is where jaws drop. Collectors crave not only shiny perfection, but also authentic survivors that embody history. And when such a coin surfaces at auction, the bidding wars ignite like wildfire. The numbers spiral upward, higher and higher, until they leave even seasoned collectors speechless. So here it is, the moment of truth. The current market value of the 1942 with D Washington quarter in dirty old condition is $152,000. Yes, $152,000. Let that sink in. This is not myth. This is not fiction. This is the verified, absolute truth of today's auction market. What does that mean? It means that what most people would dismiss as a dirty old coin, something to overlook or toss aside, is in reality a fortune hiding in plain sight. This isn't just valuable. This is a treasure chest, a relic from World War II that now brings six figures to its lucky owner. And the best part? Its value is climbing every day. What is $152,000 today could very soon be much more. The collector market is hungry, and this coin is the kind of prize that drives the hunger to new heights. Now, here is my collector's tip for you. Always pay close attention to silver quarters from the early 1940s. Don't overlook the ones that look dirty, tarnished, or old. Those very features can be what make them historically rich and valuable. Look carefully for the Denver Mint mark. Study the weight, the edges, the patina. Because somewhere out there, in a box, a jar, or a drawer, could lie the next $152,000 treasure. And to conclude the epic story of this coin, the 1942 with D Washington quarter in dirty old condition is not just money. It is history you can hold. It is America's wartime resilience cast into silver. It is proof that treasure doesn't always shine. Sometimes it hides in the dirt, waiting to reveal its brilliance at the right moment. Remember this, my faithful viewers. Here on True Coin Value, we bring you trust, truth, and the most up-to-date information every single day. What I've told you today is real, it's current, and it's powerful. Never underestimate the coins you hold, because as this story proves, even a dirty old quarter could make you rich beyond your imagination. And believe me, as staggering as this $152,000 treasure sounds, the next coin on our list is going to take this journey even deeper into the world of extraordinary wealth and rarity. We are only halfway through the Vault of Fortune, and the best is still yet to come. Next up, there are coins that scream rarity the moment you see them. Old, silver, tarnished, weathered by centuries. And then there are coins that look so normal, so ordinary, so deceptively familiar, that you would never in your wildest dreams imagine them carrying a six-figure value. That is exactly the magic of the 1970 Washington quarter without a mint mark. Let's rewind to the year 1970. America was changing fast. New culture, new music, new technology. At the Mint, changes were also unfolding. Quarters of this era were made of a copper core, sandwiched with nickel, the modern clad composition that replaced silver coins just a few years earlier. To the untrained eye, the 1970 quarter looks no different than the millions of others that pass through vending machines, parking meters, and cash registers. But the truth is, something extraordinary slipped through the cracks. This is the coin struck without a mint mark. Normally, quarters minted in Philadelphia during this time either carried no mint mark or in some special years showed that distinctive P. But in 1970, finding a quarter that survived with no mint mark and in very clear condition is beyond rare. It's like lightning striking in the same place twice. This is not just about missing letters. It's about a combination of survival, condition, and mystery that collectors crave, like treasure hunters chasing gold. Now let's talk about condition. This coin didn't just survive. It survived in very clear condition, meaning its surfaces, strike, and details are sharp and strong, free of the heavy damage that circulation usually inflicts. The portrait of George Washington looks crisp and commanding. The eagle on the reverse still spreads its wings with definition. In short, it's not just a survivor, it's a statement piece. But why does this coin carry so much weight in the collector's world? Because it embodies what we call a hidden rarity. You see, when something looks common, most people spend it, lose it, or ignore it. Only a tiny handful survive the test of time in collectible-worthy shape. That's why when an example like this surfaces at auction, collectors don't just bid, they battle. The energy in the room spikes, the numbers leap higher and higher, and the entire market takes notice. And now comes the part you have been waiting for, its value. The 1970 Washington quarter, without a mint mark, in very clear condition, commands a current auction market value of $118,000. Yes, $118,000 for a coin most people wouldn't even give a second glance. This is not speculation. This is not hype. This is the verified truth of today's market. Think about that. A simple quarter, a coin meant for pocket change, now transformed into a treasure chest worth more than 6 figures. This is what makes collecting so electrifying. It's not just about history. It's about opportunity hiding in plain sight, waiting for the sharp-eyed and the patient to claim it. And here's the most powerful truth. This treasure is still climbing in value. What is $118,000 today could be much more tomorrow. Don't dismiss it as exaggeration. The demand is growing, and collectors are not letting go of these rarities once they find them. The market value is increasing day by day, and if you hold one of these coins, you are sitting on a fortune that keeps growing in your pocket. So, what is my collector's tip for you here? Never overlook your modern quarters. Just because they do not shine with silver does not mean they are worthless. Always check for mint marks or the absence of them, and study the condition carefully. Sometimes, the sharpest-looking coin from an overlooked year is the one that changes your life. And to conclude the story of this legendary piece, the 1970 Washington quarter without a mint mark, in very clear condition, is not just a coin. It's a symbol of hidden wealth, of fortune disguised as everyday change. It's living proof that treasure doesn't always sparkle with age. Sometimes it hides in the ordinary, waiting for someone with the right eye and the right faith to discover it. Remember, here on True Coin Value, we don't deal in myths or fairy tales. We bring you the absolute truth, updated daily, trusted by collectors everywhere. And the truth is this: the 1970 no mint mark quarter is a 6-figure treasure, and its legend is only growing stronger. Next up, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you looked carefully at a quarter from the 1990s? Probably never. Because most people think too new, too common, too ordinary. But what if I told you that one such quarter struck in 1994 at the Philadelphia Mint could carry the weight of a fortune that would shock you? This is no myth. This is the story of the 1994 Washington quarter with the P mint mark, bearing mysterious brown dots on the reverse, in very fine condition. Now, let's travel back to 1994. The United States was at a cultural crossroads. Technology was booming, music was evolving, and America was gearing up for a new millennium. At the Mint, millions of Washington quarters poured out, most destined for circulation, most forgotten as simple change. But from that ocean of ordinary coins, a few rare survivors emerged, survivors with quirks, marks, and conditions that would later transform them into legendary treasures. The 1994 quarter follows the modern clad design, a copper core wrapped in nickel, 24.3 millimeters in diameter, weighing 5.67 grams. On the obverse, George Washington's iconic profile, a design trusted since 1932, stares proudly forward. But the real story of this coin lives on the reverse side, where the eagle spreads its wings above a bundle of arrows. And here, on this very coin, unusual brown dots appear across the surface. These aren't stains to ignore. These are time's own fingerprints, creating a unique identity no other coin shares. Collectors call these features character marks, and when paired with rarity and condition, they transform a simple coin into a star. Now, condition is everything. And this coin survived in very fine condition. That means sharp details on Washington's portrait, clear definition on the eagle's wings, and a bold strike that defies the decades. Combine that with the Philadelphia Mint mark and those distinctive reverse side brown dots, and you have a coin that no collector can resist. Why does this matter? Because in the world of coins, uniqueness is king. Out of millions struck, only a handful develop such unusual traits and survive with collectible strength. That rarity sets the stage for fierce bidding wars, where collectors push the price higher and higher, unwilling to let such a treasure slip away. And now comes the reveal that will make your heart race. The current market value of this 1994 with P Washington quarter, in very fine condition, with those unmistakable brown dots on the reverse, is $88,500. Yes, $88,500. Let that sink in. A coin that most people would toss aside as just a quarter is actually a six-figure level treasure in the making. And here's the truth. Its value isn't stopping here. Every day, every auction, demand grows. Collectors are hunting, competition is fierce, and this coin's price is climbing like a rocket. Today, it's $88,500. Tomorrow, it could be far more. This isn't wishful thinking. This is fact. The market value is increasing day by day, and if you hold one of these, you are sitting on a fortune that only gets bigger. So here is my collector's tip for you. Do not underestimate modern quarters. Always study the reverse side carefully. Look for spots, dots, patinas, or unusual surface traits that make a coin stand out. And pay special attention to Philadelphia minted coins, because their quirks often turn into treasures. The more you train your eyes, the more you open yourself to discovering life-changing finds. And to conclude this incredible story, the 1994 with P Washington quarter, with reverse side brown dots in very fine condition, is proof that even the newest-looking coins can hide fortunes. It's not just a coin. It's history, it's uniqueness, and it's a treasure chest in disguise. To hold this coin is to hold a piece of wealth that almost no one else will ever touch. And remember, here on True Coin Value, we give you the truth, the trust, and the freshest updates every single day. What you've just heard is no fantasy, it's reality. And the reality is simple. Coins like this prove that treasure hides where you least expect it. Next up, if there's one lesson every treasure hunter must learn, it's this: never underestimate the ordinary. Because sometimes the coin you glance at and dismiss as just another quarter is actually a key to unimaginable wealth. And there is no better proof of this than the 1972 Washington quarter without a mint mark, found in very good condition. Now let's set the scene. The year was 1972. America was in the middle of cultural transformation. The Vietnam War was still raging. Music was defining a generation, and the United States Mint was churning out quarters for everyday use. Millions of them. Most of those coins, they lived their lives in pockets, cash registers, and piggy banks. But hidden among the millions, a handful of survivors emerged that would one day shock the world of coin collecting. This particular treasure, the 1972 Washington quarter with no mint mark, belongs to that elite group. Like other quarters of the time, it carries the modern clad composition. Copper core wrapped in nickel, 24.3 millimeters in diameter, weighing 5.67 grams. The obverse shows the proud face of George Washington, a design that had already been trusted for 40 years by then. The reverse displays the American eagle, wings spread, a bold symbol of freedom. So why is this coin special? Because there is no mint mark. That tiny detail, or rather the absence of it, makes this coin stand out like a diamond in the rough. Most people never even notice mint marks. But collectors, they know. And in 1972, Philadelphia struck quarters without mint marks, but only a select few survived in collectible-worthy states. Finding one today in very good condition is like striking gold in your own backyard. Condition is crucial. Very good doesn't mean flawless. It means this coin lived its life, circulated, carried stories, yet still retained strong details. Washington's profile is visible, the eagle's form is bold, and the coin remains sharp enough to command respect. This is what collectors crave: authenticity, survival, and history in your hand. Now let's talk about rarity and demand. Out of the ocean of 1972 quarters, how many without mint marks still exist in very good condition? Only a handful. And when scarcity meets demand, the result is electrifying. Auction houses have witnessed collectors battling over these coins, their bids climbing higher and higher, driven by the hunger to own what so few others can claim. And here it is, the jaw-dropping truth. The current market value of the 1972 no mint mark Washington quarter in very good condition is $100,000. Yes, $100,000. Let that number echo in your mind. A coin worth 25 cents at birth, now transformed into a six-figure treasure. And this isn't just a one-time miracle. The demand for this coin is climbing every single day. Its value is growing, its legend is spreading, and every auction pushes the price higher. What is $100,000 today will soon be much more. This is no hype. This is the truth. You are looking at a piece of treasure that refuses to be ordinary, a coin that grows in power with each passing year. So here's my collector's tip for you. Don't ignore your 1970s quarters. Pull them out. Study them carefully. Check for the absence of mint marks. And don't assume very good condition isn't enough, because as this coin proves, very good can be very great. And to conclude this unforgettable story, the 1972 Washington quarter without a mint mark, in very good condition, is not just a piece of metal. It's a slice of American history, its survival, its uniqueness, and its wealth that can change lives overnight. And remember, here on True Coin Value, we deliver truth, trust, and the freshest, most faithful updates every single day. What I'm telling you now is real, and it proves that treasure still hides in the places you least expect it. Next up, there are moments in coin collecting when time seems to stand still. When you hold a coin so pristine, so untouched, that it feels like it was struck yesterday, even though decades have passed. That's exactly the story of the 1980 Washington Quarter with the Denver mint mark in uncirculated condition. Let's step back to 1980. America was entering a new decade of bold ambition and change. Inflation was rising, technology was advancing, and the United States. Mint was hard at work, striking billions of coins to fuel the nation's economy. Among them were the quarters, millions upon millions, flowing from the Denver Mint, each bearing the tiny but mighty D. Most of these coins did their duty, clinking through cash registers, dropping into parking meters, jingling in pockets, living ordinary lives. But a tiny, almost impossible few were spared. They were never spent, never carried, never scraped or worn down. These are the uncirculated survivors, coins that remain as fresh, sharp, and flawless as the day they were minted. And when such a coin emerges from the year 1980, it doesn't just catch attention. It explodes into the world of high-value treasures. Now, let's talk about what makes this quarter special. Like others of its era, the 1980 with D Washington Quarter is clad copper core, nickel outer layers, 24.3 millimeters in diameter, 5.67 grams in weight. On the obverse, Washington's portrait still commands respect, designed nearly half a century earlier. On the reverse, the proud eagle perches above its arrows, a timeless symbol of American strength. But here's the magic. In uncirculated condition, the details leap out at you. Washington's hair is razor sharp. The eagle's wings shine with definition. The fields, the flat surfaces of the coin, reflect light like a mirror. This isn't just a quarter. It's a work of art frozen in time. And here's where rarity takes center stage. Think about it. Billions of quarters were struck in 1980. But how many escaped the grind of circulation? How many survived untouched, pristine, flawless? Almost none. That's why uncirculated examples are so heavily prized. They're time capsules. They're survivors. They're treasures in their purest form. And now comes the jaw-dropping truth. The current market value of the 1980 D Washington Quarter in uncirculated condition is $118,000. Yes, you heard that right. $118,000. This is no rumor, no exaggeration, no fairy tale. This is the absolute truth of today's auction market. Let that number sink in. A coin worth 25 cents at its birth has become a six-figure treasure chest, capable of changing the life of whoever holds it. And here's the most thrilling part. Its value is not frozen. It's growing. With each auction, with each bidding war, the price climbs higher. What is $118,000 today could very well be even greater tomorrow. The market value is increasing day by day. So here's my collector's tip. Never underestimate uncirculated coins. Always check those rolls, those mint sets, those collections passed down from family members. If you find a 1980 with D quarter that still looks sharp, fresh, and untouched, you may be holding a fortune in your fingertips. These treasures hide where most people never look. And to conclude this extraordinary story, the 1980 with D Washington Quarter in uncirculated condition is not just a coin. It is a living treasure, a frozen piece of history, a symbol of what happens when ordinary change transforms into extraordinary wealth. Holding it is like holding lightning in a bottle, rare, powerful, unforgettable. And remember, here on True Coin Value, we don't deal in fiction or rumors. We bring you faithful, truthful, and up-to-date information every single day. And the truth is simple. This coin is a 6-figure prize, and its legend is only growing stronger. But don't move a muscle, because we are almost at the end of our journey, and the final coin in this lineup may just be the most shocking of them all. If you've been stunned so far, get ready. The climax is about to hit. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, the moment you've been waiting for. After a journey through time, through mystery, and through unimaginable wealth, we've arrived at the final coin in today's countdown. And believe me when I say this, if you thought the last coins were shocking, this one will shake you to your core. Because we're stepping back to the very heart of wartime America, to 1943, and to a Washington quarter that is nothing less than a 6-figure treasure. The year was 1943. The world was engulfed in the flames of World War II. Factories were working around the clock, resources were rationed, and every part of the nation was focused on victory. And even in this time of global chaos, the United States Mint kept striking coins to keep America's economy alive. Out of the San Francisco Mint came a batch of Washington quarters, most of them ordinary, but a chosen few became extraordinary. This brings us to the 1943 Washington quarter with the S Mint mark. On the surface, it looks like every other coin of its era, 90% silver, 10% copper, a gleaming 24.3 millimeters of American pride, weighing 6.25 grams. The obverse carries George Washington's noble profile, a design that had already become a pillar of United States. Coinage. The reverse showcases the eagle, wings spread in strength, clutching its arrows of readiness. But what makes this coin truly breathtaking is its survival in very fine condition, despite the passage of more than 80 years. Think about that. This coin lived through the war years, passed through hands in the 1940s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. It circulated, it carried history, it bore the weight of a nation's story. And yet, after all that, it survives today with bold details intact. Washington's face remains clear, the eagle's wings still defined, the surfaces carrying the unique brown spotting that collectors don't see as damage, but as proof of age, authenticity, and character. This isn't a flaw. It's a fingerprint of time. Now, rarity is everything in the world of coin collecting. Millions of quarters were struck in 1943, yes. But how many with the S Mint mark have lasted in very fine condition, with their story still visible? The answer is only a rare few. And collectors know this. They chase it. They crave it. And when such a coin enters the auction stage, the bidding doesn't just rise, it erupts. And here comes the truth that will leave you speechless. The current market value of the 1943 with S Washington quarter in very fine condition is $118,000. Yes, $118,000. What was once a simple piece of silver is now a treasure chest, a fortune you can hold in the palm of your hand. And this is no fantasy. This is reality. The demand for this coin is climbing higher every single day. Every auction proves it. Every collector's battle for ownership confirms it. This coin is not only valuable today, it is destined to grow even more valuable tomorrow. What is $118,000 now could soar to even greater heights in the future. Don't take this as fiction. I am telling you the truth. Now, here's my collector's tip. Never ignore coins with spotting, tarnish, or natural age. Many beginners think such features ruin a coin's value, but in reality, they often prove authenticity and add to the character of older silver coins. A 1943 with S quarter with brown spots is not a flaw, it's a badge of survival. If you ever come across one, treasure it, protect it, and remember, you may be holding a fortune. So as we close this incredible journey, let me leave you with this. The 1943 with S Washington quarter in very fine condition is not just a coin. It is living history. It is a survivor of America's most challenging years. And it is proof that fortune hides in the most unexpected of places. And remember, here on True Coin Value, you are in faithful, trustworthy hands. I bring you fresh updates every day, stories of treasure that are not fantasy, but reality, and knowledge that can change the way you look at every single coin in your collection. So stay with us, because the world of coins is far from ordinary. It's a world of suspense, excitement, and unimaginable treasures waiting to be discovered. This was the final coin of today's list, but tomorrow a new treasure may emerge, and you'll hear it here first.